Today we're putting this 6-speed behind this Skyline. Hey, real quick before we start this video, a lot of you guys have been asking for team shirts. Finally, Autohaus has t-shirts, so it would really help out a lot if you supported the shop, got some merch, some shirts, stickers, support the media work, support me and my dog.
Check out that merch store so I don't starve you guys.
It's 2021, and if you still have an antiquated 5-speed behind your Skyline, what are you even doing? So I've decided on a CD009 swap for my car. I have an R33 GTST Skyline. It's got 173 kilometers and some change on it, which means the trend is still good, but it's definitely kind of tired. It definitely doesn't have the modern shift feel and shift quality of a modern 6-speed. All reasons to go CD009. If I were to decide for big power in the future, the CD9 would absolutely be the transmission to hold the power as well. These cars are almost 30 years old. That means this guy's also almost 30 years old. You can't buy a new RB trans anymore. The R34 GTST trans recently got discontinued. And again, finding parts and more importantly, the right skilled person to rebuild an RB25 trans is getting scarcer and scarcer and even more expensive by the day. Really briefly, some advantages again with the CD9. Modern 6-speed with modern internals, that means it should handle high RPM shifts and daily driving perfectly fine. The CD9 is the latest iteration. Actually, the one I got is a CD00A, which is technically the latest CD9. So with that being said, why don't we check out some of the parts I have ready to do this conversion. All right, my CD00A. Jump the gun, I got the Serial 9 technical shifter. This shifter relocation by far got the best reviews. The other reason I got this shifter was it's got this, oh, I guess it needs some force. It's got an integrated reverse lockout mechanism in this shifter, which I believe no other company does for a CD09 relocation shifter. You can see this plate's adjustable to adjust the reverse lockout feature. And a smorgasbord of parts here. More parts for that Serial 9 shifter. Brand new clutch slave from Nissan. I'm gonna see how the clutch hose works. I'm hoping I can reuse the original one and not have to get a 350Z hose. LOJ CD9 to RB or KA adapter kit. So let's see what we have here. So of course we got the plate, all the hardware. I was confused what these longer studs were for. I sent an email to LOJ and apparently if you're doing this behind a KA, you need these longer studs for the starter. You can see you can flip this plate for either RB or KA. The instructions state you actually need bell housing dowels off of the 350Z, so I got 2 of those guys. I imagine that's gonna be from transmission to this plate. The LOJ specific RB25 pressure plate bolts, the difference with these is that they're longer than the regular ARP RB25 bolts, and that's for increased thread engagement. The LOJ conversion flywheel, the flywheel bolts didn't come in time, but I got some ARP flywheel bolts for this. Really key, the RB25 and RB26 bolts are different. The 26 bolts are actually a hair shorter, so, and then also RB25 shares the same bolts with a KA Power 240. So in short, if you have an RB25, get the 240SX ARP bolts. Spacer plate, also from LOJ, I got the recommended Clutch Masters clutch kit. To my surprise, comes with already a bronze pilot bushing, 350Z throughout bearing, got the alignment tool, of course got the friction disc and the pressure plate. This is pretty cool. See that? Precision balanced. It's not so often that you see aftermarket clutch and flywheels get balanced. On OEMs, sometimes you'll see match marks where they need to be balanced, but yeah, it's cool that this guy's balanced already. This is the Clutch Masters FX100XD, and this guy's rated for 335 foot-pounds. I hope one day to make that sort of power. This is one step up from the entry-level clutch that LOJ offers, so this should last me a long time, even if I decide to do some serious power adders. For the transmission mount, we have this S chassis to CD9 adapter trans mount. I know it's S chassis, but it looks like in their video, this will actually work for Skyline as well. I was worried about needing an OEM 350Z trans mount, but it looks like they have this poly unit that will act as a soft trans mount. Definitely could have fabricated this piece myself, but for the price, this saves a ton of time. Although I have to say that poly piece A little bit rough, looked like someone took a bite out of crime on this one. Thank you to a few many factors, including the holiday shipping, that I'm still missing. So I'm gonna get the trans in the car, and at least then I can get a drive shaft measurement. I'm gonna have a drive shaft made locally. And also I can see if I have any clearance issues, especially inside the trans tunnel. So at least those two major hurdles will get taken care of, even if I can't install this thing fully this winter. So a few things I'm missing: the wiring specialties reverse switch connector. That's gonna be a different connector than my RB25 trans, so we're gonna have to splice in a pigtail to match. I got a rear main seal on the way. Always a great idea to change the rear main seal while you're doing the clutch, because you don't know when the last time that rear main seal's been changed. The biggest worry is it might not leak, but if you have a rock hard rear main seal, it actually might cut a groove into the crankshaft, which is probably even worse than a leaking rear main seal. And it looks like the last two parts I'm actually just missing the ARP flywheel bolts, like I said earlier. And I ordered another bronze pilot bushing from Nissan, but I guess I should have read the product description more carefully. All right, so I am excited as heck to get that into that. We're really busy here, so I'm seizing the opportunity during this Christmas break, or I should say this Christmas holiday, it's never a break for me, to do this conversion. So let's get started. So game plan for teardown. Interior's gotta come out. I'm gonna take that shifter out. Starter's gonna come out. Drive shaft, transmission. We'll probably do the rear main seal. A lot of work to do. Did I mention I'm excited as heck? Let's get to work. If you guys haven't done it before, the top bolt for the starter may look like a nightmare, but the secret is I got a 14mm socket on a universal, very long extension. And so go under the intake, and then you can get a ratchet right here and undo that starter bolt. Don't try to get like a crow's foot or a little wrench and try to get it down in there. Long extension is the secret. I'll get that bottom starter bolt underneath the car, but yeah, taking off the shifter trim, I'm really curious if this is going to be compatible with that CD009 shifter. There's 3 locations to position the CD009 top shifter part. We'll see where the shifter hole for the trans ends up. I personally prefer my shifters actually further back because I got T-Rex arms. But yeah, hopefully this shifter boot will fit. I've done swaps before where like exhaust gas and road debris and nonsense gets through because the shifter boots don't fit quite correctly. That's always been an annoyance for me. Got a C-clip right there. I'm gonna pop the C-clip out, take this shifter out, stuff a rag in there so no garbage falls down in there, and we'll meet back underneath the car. All right, quick recap, Dexter. All right, so things were actually going swimmingly until I ran into one serious issue. But let's recap real quick. Starter's out. The hanger for the exhaust, the rubber mount. Pretty interesting. There's actually a safety bar, even though this is a 2-piece drive shaft. This guy's out. Shifter on top. The RB25 trans, there's 3 plugs. I imagine one is backup lights, one maybe neutral safety. I gotta figure out, since the CD9 only has 2 sensors, I gotta figure out if the car is gonna run or have speedo or not. Yeah, trans is drained. All the bolts are out. Only got 4 transmission bolts left, I think. You can see I was just about there. Oh, right here. Right here is where the safety loop goes for the drive shaft. Here's my problem right there. If you notice these drive shaft bolts, that guy's almost rounded out. Box end is not gonna go in there. So even with my flank drive snap-on wrenches, even with flare wrenches, even with this crow's foot, this guy keeps wanting to round out. I'm sure that bolt has been in there since the dawn of time. I'm not sure if the clutch has ever been done in this car, but you're supposed to be able to fit a box end in there and prevent that. Long story short, Mr. Cutoff Wheel, I'm gonna cut that thread short so I can fit in a box end. I'm gonna buy new drive shaft bolts for this. I'm totally okay with that. Good preventative maintenance anyway. Problem is, gotta take the sway bar out. Not a huge deal, but a very annoying setback. So yeah, let's cut those bolts shorter. Hopefully these don't round out on me. All right, got the drive shaft out. The FSM way to do it is actually to remove this catback section. You can see it gets tight between the muffler and the gas tank. There's not really room to take the drive shaft out. As you can see, parts of this car are a rusty headache. So I basically removed the hangers, put a pull jack under here, and dropped the catback enough so I could squeeze the exhaust out. I wasn't gonna try to remove the nuts off of this cat tonight. Try saying that with a straight face. Right, Dexter? Cat nuts? So yeah, now we're ready to take the trans out. 4 bell housing bolts up there. Always tie this guy down. It's not worth your safety or your life. I definitely have had mishaps before where the strap has saved me. So take it from me, safety first. She was a big girl, but success. Yeah, ownership of this car, I could tell someone really cared about. So this was like someone's treasure at some point. Rear main seal definitely looks like it was replaced and this resealed at one point. I'm still going to at least replace the seal. I have a brand new Nissan seal on the way. The LOJ kit should be able to retain these braces from the engine to the trans, which is excellent. Yeah, clutch and flywheels out. I was actually kind of shocked when I saw the front. You can see the fingers actually don't have that much wear. And I was expecting a good clutch, which I was shocked, but you guys can see this guy was really close. Also pretty fun. Nismo clutch. So yeah, somebody really cared about this girl at one point. He has had a hard life. So this was the original pilot bushing. I thought I was gonna have to slide hammer this out. This actually came out by hand, which tells me that the pilot bushing's worn too. I put the new pilot bushing in there and luckily it's still a snug fit. So I guess that's a danger too. If this guy is no longer a press fit and this thing's spinning in there, there's a chance it could wear out the ID of the crankshaft too, which would be absolutely terrible. I'm doing a trans swap because I needed a clutch. No, just kidding. Here it is, the RB25 trans. Definitely very big girl. This protrusion was a little bit of a headache. I had to like tilt this guy over up because there's actually a bulge in the tunnel where this guy hits. Very big girl. Almost equally as big as this one. Well, I'm really hoping I don't have to do that much tunnel clearance because both of these are pretty hefty girls. Number 1. So yeah, that was day 1. Be back tomorrow for a full day, getting the conversion parts together. Again, I'm missing the flywheel bolts still. They'll be here on Monday, but at least I can fit this up. So again, checking for tunnel clearance and then also measuring for a drive shaft. That being said, I'm gonna get some rest, something to drink. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.